Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you so much for joining me and my special guest, Sherry, today. What is up, Sherry?
Hey everybody.
All right, you guys. So it is Dolores Cannon's birthday today. Happy birthday, Dolores Cannon.
Happy birthday, Dolores. And she's one of my spirit guides and she's one of yours, right?
Yeah, and I'm actually going to tell that story after we get done when we're sort of talking about today's session that we're going to share with you and I that we had. And we're going to cover a lot of fun topics. I did want to mention really quick that it is World Wide Regression Week, so be sure you go over to the Quantum Healers YouTube channel, link below. A lot of great group things going on there, so definitely want to take part of it, April 12th through 18th. So, in honor of Worldwide Regression Week, we wanted to put something out here for you guys, and then we're going to follow it up. It's about an hour long, so if you just want to check out the session part of it, it's about an hour, and then after that, Sherry and I are going to discuss some stuff because she goes into the somnambulistic level, so she comes out of it not remembering anything at all, and we want to discuss what that's like with her because it's really rare. It's not. I know a lot of people think that everybody goes that deep, but it's really not like that at all. It is a rare thing, so we're going to talk what it's like for Sherry to sort of channel and do that sort of stuff. So, but first, let's watch this. I hope you guys enjoy this. We'll be back in about an hour to talk to Sherry and have some fun with it.
Hope y'all have fun.
Everything is purple and blue mixed together.
Does it look like a sky?
Looks like a sky and a land and a forest. It's got every purple, every blue.
Do you see anyone around?
I see some birds like jellyfish.
Mm-hmm. Sounds very beautiful. What time of the day is it?
Must be night time.
Mm-hmm.
Some has stars, like Christmas tree lights.
Are you saying the stars look like Christmas tree lights?
Yeah,
Does it seem like you're on another planet?
probably.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a body?
Yeah,
What do you look like?
like a blue and small.
You're blue and small.
Mm,
Do you have clothes on? What do your clothes look like?
mm, the Flintstones.
Hmm. And your skin is blue?
Sparkle.
It's blue and it sparkles?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's really neat. Do you see anyone else around like you?
now.
Not right now? Okay. Well, look around. Is there anything that gets your attention?
Let's see. A huge cat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a panther.
Mm-hmm.
But he isn't gonna eat me.
But he what?
He isn't will not eat me.
Mm-hmm. Does he see you?
I'll stop. He has one paw up, frozen.
Like he's trying to shake your hand?
No, he's not by me. Stop. He's looking around.
What is he looking for?
I don't know. Not me, but they told me that he won't eat me.
Who who told you that he won't eat you?
The fairies in
Mm-hmm.
my head.
Yeah. Where should we go? Can the fairies let you know where we should go?
Just walking forward.
Okay. What is this place like?
It's very beautiful here.
Mm-hmm.
It's very beautiful here. I'm going by the water.
Does the water look normal? Or is there anything special about it?
Water is glowy, but it's clear. It's glowy.
It's clear, but it glows a little bit.
If you put it in your hands,
It's cool. Can you taste it? Is it really refreshing?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do you see?
I just only I'm here alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I had to become friends with the fairies that live in my head
Mm-hmm.
because I had no one else to talk to.
Well, can we talk to them now? Is this the fairies of the universe?
Yeah, how do you know that?
I just had a sneaking suspicion. Can the fairies of the universe answer any questions for us that we're wanting to know about today?
Sure, I'm gonna read while they do that.
Okay. All right. So, with these fairies of the universe, is there a leader? Or are you all equals? Or do you have names that can be understood?
Good. They don't. They're like a drop. If it's a drop in the water, one drop. So, no, they don't have any names.
Mm-hmm. Are they outside of time that we're in?
Yeah.
So they're able to travel and see what we think of as the future. They can look at it now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Is there any information about the current global situation that you know but you're not able to share with us?
Mm. It's, it's all silly. But you wanted to do that. You wanted to do that.
We wanted to do this virus?
Yeah, everything.
So, what can you tell us about the current situation, the global situation?
Well, you already know every entity experiences what they believe. And that's how there's so many different levels because everyone believes something different and they have a different level.
Okay, so the people within the Q movement, they're going to experience exactly what it is that, I mean, there's underground bases being taken out right now, like everybody thinks.
Yeah, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
So it looks like this situation, everybody's sort of trying to take advantage of it in one way or another right now.
Mhm. Basically, it's a time for whatever people are thinking is what they're experiencing. And some people have the sickness affecting their whole social circle, and some people don't have any at all around them and think that it's not even true. And that's where you see that people really do get what they think that they are, or they're going to experience is really what they get.
So there could be people that just think, hey, this is just going to blow over in a few months and things are going to go back just how they were. There's even the possibility of things returning to how they were.
A lot of people don't realize it, but there's so many different levels. Mm. The the difference of when people speak of a shift is like when a certain group of people does shift to a different reality, and some realize it and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get shift and don't even realize it and just end up being in a different area and and being there. And some people will be a big dramatic one. especially the people picture one in their head now.
Mm-hmm.
They think about it all the time and they think they know what it looks like. And then whenever it does happen, it's going to look like what they think it's going to look like. They're going to think is what's going to happen is what is going to happen for them, for their experience. And some people will basically, if their frequency lines up with one of those frequencies, even if it didn't have that belief of that happening, it would be there and experience that with those people. And there's many different layers, not levels, layers. So it doesn't mean that anyone's better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that they're tuned into a little bit of a different channel, basically.
Okay, so you're really speaking of what I'm getting kind of intuitively is that there's people who think a certain thing's going to happen and that's going to be their reality. So that's what they resonate with and that's what they bring about. But you're, it sounds like you're talking about a group of people maybe that are, they're high vibe, but they don't really have any expectations. So they'll still go to a higher vibe timeline, even though they might not have any expectations of what's going to happen on that timeline. Sort of the approach that I've been trying to take.
Yes. And it's not even timeline, it's more of a frequency match.
Right.
Because everyone will be in this and same place, but it would almost be like if you change what they were seeing around them.
Okay. So sort of like two people can be next to each other with different radio stations tuned in.
Yeah, but if they're not on the same dial, they could be standing by each other and not see each other.
Okay.
Or they could. And
So really the further apart they are, the less likely they are to see each other, possibly.
the frequency far apart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But then sometimes there's different versions of those people in different areas of frequency. This is more be better to call a dimensional shift than a timeline shift.
Okay. So the vision I got of being united in separation, like there being a split so that people could be less contrasting, I guess. Unity could be a better possibility if there was sort of a split before the unity. Is it accurate of what's really happening? Or is it not even two, it's just, there's not even really a limit to the level, or the layer, I should say.
There's many different, I guess you'd say, like probabilities. I know this sounds hard to understand. Anything that you imagine would be could be possible in all of these different it's all really active and jumping around right now. That's why people are having little, like what you would call glitches, and just everybody's popping in and out of everywhere. And this is why people are seeing things shift around, even objects in their home. But some people aren't aware to notice. Some people don't notice. Some
Okay.
people don't care.
Well, some people can see something shift where someone else doesn't, right?
Yes, it's and and I know it sounds boring, but it's everything is possible. You could have people that have objects say disappear in and out of their reality, but then someone else could come in and find the object right where it was. It was never missing in their dimension.
And as
And
soon as they
then,
grab it, it pulls it back into the other person's.
right, it's so multi-layered, multifaceted, very interesting. Hard to explain with words, but not so hard if you just think about it.
Well, people are experiencing this at different degrees, of course. Some people don't notice it happens. Other people notice it's happening a lot. Other people are seeing all sorts of multiple versions and timelines and things like that. Is that going to increase for everyone?
Yeah, yes, it's, but so there'll still be people that don't experience it at all. They're not aware of it and they don't believe it's possible.
So for them, it doesn't happen.
Right, that's right. That's why it's good that everyone shares experiences in a group that trusts each other, because
Sometimes hearing what's possible can unlock more.
yeah, it's the best thing for people is to discuss the things happening to them. And I tell you the truth, that if someone is getting a headaches, and they think this is from technologies, and then they are right, but if it's from dimensional changes, then they're right. And that's real. That's real.
So they intuited that on the Q map where it shows the 5G or the 5D. It's really our choice what we want to tap into.
And not even so much a choice. It's a frequency match. So someone might not want it to be the technologies. They might not want it to be the technology, but it is. They might not want it to be that, but it is, because they frequency match that. They might not know what that is, and the frequency match that.
That just fits their reality.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it really is true when people are like, I'm already living on 5D because they're already making that their reality within this reality alongside 3D people.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And at some point, are we going to disappear to each other, or are there going to be versions of ourselves, 3D versions left behind in the 3D world? Or
Some people, some yes, and some no, because it's every possibility is possible, and every possibility will happen. And the funny thing is that what we can do is see, focus almost through consciousness on the people and experience their experience. We kind of been waiting for this for quite some time. Do you see what I mean?
no, please continue.
We can focus ourselves through you and see and feel emerge and tell you we can tell you things.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, you said intuitively I think this thought.
Right.
And that's us.
I see. So, like with the Q map, where he drew the 5G and the 5D and sort of the two sides of the coin that you can go, that was your idea that you gave him.
That's us.
Right. Okay. Would that be
So
you with synchronicities and stuff as well?
that's us.
Mm-hmm.
But gotta, mm, that's also, guess you.
Right. Like higher versions of ourselves
Yes. It's an
working together.
aspect.
Yeah. So if I think there's a split where the 3D people disappear to the 5D people, the 5D people disappear to the 3D people, there's some kind of split, although they stay in the same location, that's a possibility. But there's also a possibility where there's a split and there's 3D versions that turn go with the 3D people of each person that went to 5D, and then there's 5D versions of the 3D people that went to 5D, and so there's no one lost in any. And if there's no time, so that's a possibility. So either one of those is possible.
I know it's boring, but every single thing is possible.
Okay.
See, if you want answer, you really can't have one because there is no answer.
Okay. So maybe moving from possibility to probability
Mm.
would be the way to go.
Mm.
Are certain outcomes more probable than others?
For you. For you.
Right. So that's individual.
Yes.
Everything's individual.
Yes, but that your group of people, that your belief system that's kind of developed has a core frequency. And now they kind of move along.
So it's like we're in the boat together.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah.
So we're all driving this boat together.
Yes, with your thoughts and your frequency, your inner resonance, what you believe and know to be true. Because there's wondering and knowing, thinking about, pondering what it is that you think that you know in the deepest part of you is more than likely what you will experience. Even if you get to a point where you feel like you've lost or dropped your frequency, maybe because of an emotional event that happened in your life, that doesn't matter because it's your core frequency. Where does it resonate at? Where is it most of the time? That's you. It's your signature frequency.
So as I feel like I'm moving forward without expectations and just expecting the very best possible outcome for all involved, and just sort of
That's smart.
so when I move with that probability notion, and anyone that decides that, hey, I want the best timeline too, or the best probability, I should say, and I'm with you on this. Let's put our intentions into whatever that looks like. We don't know what that looks like, but that's the direction we're going to go. What
Yes.
what can we talk about that probability? So say we're able to take that optimal timeline. How soon would this whole I don't know, what do you call it? Just show with the whole worldwide pandemic going on. How long will that last?
You want us to give you dates, huh?
Not exactly dates, but weeks maybe would be nice.
Mm. Mm.
Well, what can you say about it? How long is
Mm.
it going to go? Will it be exposed on this most highest probability timeline or whatever?
Looking at, I'm trying to look at all your calendars are wonky. I'd say,
Do you mean my personal calendars or everyone's calendars?
mm, well, it's just yours we're looking at, but I'm sure that yours matches them. A lot of people are where you are. I
Can you explain the wonky schedule? I'd almost rather just hear about how wonky it is rather than any specific timeline, to be honest with you.
Everybody makes a calendar
Like,
long ago, and different people, and they're just all different.
so wait, so you're saying like before I came here, I'm like planning this out. If this happens, then I'll do this, and then this, then I'll do this, and I just sort of got this crazy looking probability calendar.
I'm talking about your real calendar.
Oh, Yeah, it is kind of wonky. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was kind of hoping you weren't looking at my calendar. Yeah, that's why I want you to look at your calendar because of how my calendar looks.
I see. I see. I really don't. I'm doing this because I feel how bad you want to know this. I say there will be some happenings in the end of May. Maybe not the middle, but a little before the middle of July.
Something on a personal note
August.
or something on a global scale?
On the frequency resonance that you are at and others around you are at.
Right.
You
Okay.
see?
Yeah.
Your wonky calendar.
It is flexible though.
I have to be because it's wonky. Very, that's something really confusing for when you try to communicate to people. And other people. It's hard to pin down.
Yeah. So on this timeline or this probability that this highest probability reality, is there going to be a complete financial reset?
I don't want you to think that I'm being disrespectful to you, sir, but if I said like before, what is the answer? Everybody is gonna experience what they resonate at. There'll be people, great stories of things that happen in their dimensional social frequency. It's like, you know, if you take a grid,
Mm-hmm.
a very small, tight grid, and almost every single point or corner is a little bit different of reality experience. And you really, Eddie, what people need to realize is that a different experience is only a perspective away. That's the way to change your experience by perspective that changes, and with that, what changes?
Your reality.
Your emotions, yes, and your experience, and it's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the trick is from there. So you change to this perspective that's different, more positive, what feels good. Now you do it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's the trick that no one knows. It's the secret. Do you understand?
Just doing it over and over again?
But doing it
Changing your perspective
higher,
and higher.
better, and do you see Cynthia smiling?
Yeah, I did actually.
I saw
how
you see.
how good could it get? Yeah, I totally saw her.
Saw you see that.
Amazing. Wow.
It's really more. Have about this. It seems super difficult, but it's really very simple.
Yeah. We're doing it all the time, aren't we?
Yes.
Well, what can we do besides stay out of fear at these times to help this process along?
Well, first off, if you ever have any fear for a second, you need to reassure people that that's okay, because if you looked at it in a linear style, which we don't like to do, but and there was a small increment, and you were like plotting a frequency, basically, like on a graph. And let's pretend that it dipped down for whatever reason for a little while. It's not gonna change your core free. It's like almost like if you love someone, but then you get really mad at them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're not mad at them anymore. Did you ever stop loving them? No.
Mm-mm.
It's the same thing, because we want to stress to people that if you have a bad day, you're not going to ruin everything. When someone comes out of a situation like that, it's almost an appreciation of their soul that they're back to, and so it makes it a little bit higher.
Mm.
Sometimes things like that are good. When people grow, they
Right.
they might go down a little. It's an inner appreciation that they don't even realize that they have to be through something or done with something, or but say you got someone on this path towards new earth or 5D.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's pretend that in their frequency area of people where they're creating this certain outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pretend for a minute that it's scheduled for tomorrow on your wonky calendar.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the members, maybe they have a family member pass away that day, and they're laying on a bed crying over it. Do you think that they're really going to miss the bus?
Okay.
No.
Okay, so that's reassuring then. So anybody that would hear that they're,
No.
they're definitely in our group. looking towards 5D, but all of a sudden, they've gotten maybe wrapped up in some of the media and wrapped up in some of the fear and got caught in some of the fear trap that's there. It's just the illusion of it. We all get caught in the illusion of it sometimes. It doesn't mean that they're going to accidentally stay on 3D Earth because they got caught in the fear trap.
This makes me cry because this must be known. This worries people that they don't say it. They're afraid to say it.
Yeah. So it's sort of that religious thing where you, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, well, if I do something wrong and I die right then, I'll go to hell forever, right?
It is the same. It's
Yeah.
the same. It's the same. It's more when I talk of core. Sorry, I have someone bothering me. When we talk of core, like love inside of a, it's the core frequency of the person. So it's almost like how you've heard stories of people passing the other side and that they kind of judge themselves.
Mm-hmm.
There's an overall signature resonance of each soul.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes you who you are.
Right. So you don't have to worry about a bad day sending you to the wrong place. That's old religious programming that we got stuck in our head, huh?
Exactly. And it's just that in this, with this, we'll say, community of people that gather, and there's so many basically is afraid to have a bad thought cross their mind. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't want to stay there long. It's like a train. If the train is going one way, let's say that's love, and then the other way is fears. There's a whole spectrum of emotions which would determine the speed of the train. So if the train stops and goes backwards a little bit for a second, it's still going forwards mostly.
Right.
Or it might, if it's going really fast forward, it might not even go the other way at all.
Right. Might just slow it down a little bit.
Yeah. And everything is okay. But here's the best part. The whole spectrum of frequencies and people, they're still all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the grid on the paper showed you. You saw it.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is these slightly different variations, but it seems like we're going through a time where there's a catalyst that sort of pushes people one way or the other on this grid. If that makes sense.
Yes, and what I said, like, oh, catalyst will bring you down a little and then whenever I come out of it, it's a little bit higher or a lot higher. There's no mistakes here.
Right.
Do you understand that?
Well, that takes a lot of pressure off. People can relax. Just enjoy
Just
the ride.
relax and ride the train. A good way to think of that is say it's, is think like if they were a little kid or something, or even an adult, and they running along and fall and break their arm or something, and then some kind of shift happened or whatever, they're not going to miss the boat at some point. It's just something that needs to be said. Because a lot of people that think about these things all the time.
Well, for the majority of people that hear this information, what can you say about what the actual COVID-19 actually is? Is there any information about that you can give us?
I need to let's do this from a majority core frequency that is round about yours.
Okay.
It's a bad cold.
It's a bad cold.
It's a bad cold, but if you're 100, well, you might not be able to fight it. It's equivalent to any flu.
Okay, so they really are blowing this out of proportion.
In this core frequency that is you, but yes, because if the test is actually basically for a certain cold germ, it's a flu. And each person that would contract it would experience it totally different. Some wouldn't even have a fever. Others would develop into a cough and a congestion and maybe be too weak to fight it off, basically. But as well as we know that if that happened, it was their time to go in the way that they chose to experience it.
Right.
And they're not sad or scared when that time comes. Ready. And the family members that aren't ready, if one of them is, say, waiting on some type of ascension type event, they are not going to miss the boat because they are sad.
All right.
Because it just happens sometimes.
All right.
You need to tell them all that.
Let them know that it's okay to have the regular human emotions. That's part of the human emotional experience down here. So, of course, we're going to feel sad and fearful sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so fun, right?
Makes me
The
cry.
emotion. The emotion of it. To be able to cry at something like that is amazing.
And fun
Yeah.
is not really the word. It's more of an expression of love
Yeah.
in a different kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I love all of every being here, where we are, and everywhere
Mm-hmm.
and beyond. I just love everyone so much. I don't want them to be afraid.
Well, what can they do? Can they call on you all to help? The fairies of the universe? Or anybody?
We're always there.
Yeah, but say somebody's having a hard time and they just need somebody to reach out to. Can they ask for help? Get it from you guys? Yeah.
They can call us anything they want to call us.
You guys always come and help.
They can call us angels. They can call us fairies. They can call us Sir Jesus. They could call us anything that they want to call us, because you know what they should call us? Just call us the love and the love of the whole galaxy and world. It's just the love.
Love.
Yeah.
So when we call on help, if we call on love to come and help us.
Yeah. And we'll march right in.
Is that why in my BQH session I asked what the name of the entity was and it said love? Was that you guys then too?
You know that.
That's good. Well, is there anything else that we can put out there today that you can say that someone will hear and it'd be a synchronicity for them to realize this really is happening? They really are in control. They really aren't powerless. What can we tell people?
They are hopefully then, like, for you, the confirmation was just given to verify information as it's filtered through the entity that's speaking, that there should be some sort of resonance that makes you feel emotional, or not cry, like lump in your throat type
Mm-hmm.
feeling, makes you know that
Right.
everything said is how it is, and that there's so many different levels, and it's too many to count,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not really levels. It's just like if you stuck your arm out, there's different dimensions around every inch of it and all the way around it. It's so many different, and they merge together. So some might see this same thing visually, and still the perspective is a small bit different or a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
But that everybody's where they're supposed to be and heading in the same direction.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right, so pretty incredible session. What was your first impressions of it, listening back to it afterwards?
Every single time that I've done this, I'm so amazed because it's almost like watching another person or something because I don't remember saying anything, and some of the things that I say, I'm like, where is this really coming from? It's so weird, and then I feel like I'm a weirdo compared to other people because of the stuff like being a small fairy or that's blue or whatever, and talking about that it had on clothes like the Flintstones and everything, and it's kind of embarrassing. And I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's awesome. And actually, that reminded me that the Fairies of the Universe, actually, for the people that think it sounds a little crazy, they actually told me during this show in the subsequent meditation session since the session that we just aired here, they told me to let everybody know, just take a moment, sit there, and just get in observer receiving mode and see if you get anything right now. Just take a deep breath and just feel. Do you feel anything? Chills, tingles, anything at all?
I
And
do.
just
I feel something that I have felt before. It feels like movement around like my nose and my cheeks. Like I don't know how to explain it.
yeah. Michelle was actually talking about that, like it's like movement, like exactly what you're talking about. So it's weird because I know it sounds strange, but you know it's very real, and anybody who gives it a chance, and just see, get in receiving mode and see if you feel anything, because they'll make their self known. People didn't find this by accident, this video or whatever. So yes, I think it sounds very strange, but I know it's real. So what do you do with that?
I I don't know, but it's okay. Here's another thing too. Like, my mom watches some of this stuff and everything, and she goes to church, and I mean, I felt a bit dis well, I guess it's not disrespectful to say sir, but Sir Jesus, come on, y'all. I'm just that was so strange, and I mean I made myself laugh at times, but the
I loved it. It's a great interaction. In fact, I can actually say that these interactions, these sessions with you have been like some of the most amazing, coolest things in my whole life. I mean, I I, I mean that like from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for doing these sessions with me. I remember going over the Law of One stuff, and it was so amazing. And now I feel like I'm actually doing that same type of thing with you. So thank you for taking the time to do this, and it's such an amazing thing, really.
thank you. That makes me feel good, but it's I know that it makes me nervous somewhat because I didn't really realize where everything's coming from, and I think that I don't I don't want people to think that I don't trust it or whatever, but I think if I remembered it like the other people do, it'd be different maybe. But it seems it's so shocking to hear it back, you know.
Right? And not to have any recollection of it. In fact, you've even had sessions where you had a completely different experience. Like you were dreaming. One of the sessions, you were like hanging out with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson didn't even come through in the session, but from your point of view, you're like, "Oh, I was just hanging out with Michael Jackson. We were having this conversation," and I'm like, "What? That's so weird. That like you were somewhere else while you were with me doing the session. You know what I mean? It's
That's just
wild. So
yeah.
I want people to know though how you feel about this, because I think it's important that you feel a little bit nervous about putting information out because you don't know if it can be trusted. You don't know if it's accurate. You don't know because it's not coming from you. So,
Right. And there's
but
a
you've sort of got your face and your name attached to it, like and you don't know. You're just like any one of us from your perspective, you could just be anyone listening to the session right now because you have no recollection whatsoever of it. So take it with a grain of salt is probably what you would say. You know,
Right.
if you
And
resonate with it, great. You know, but and I tell Sherry this all the time when she feels like that. I'm like, the message is always one of love. It's always one of unity. If you just look at the fruit of the substance of what's coming through, you can see it's one of love and intelligence. And I trust it because of that. That's what resonates with me. So if the information was hateful or divisive or anything like that, or fear based or anything like that, then I might feel differently about it. But I feel like it can be trusted. It's rooted in love, not fear. That's sort of my primary test. You know.
well, I can say that I think because, I've always had, I've always been a little bit fearful of some things supernatural, but I'm still fascinated with it. But to me, sometimes I say things that I totally disagree with.
Right.
And it makes me, that's kind of weird. I don't like when I sometimes have given advice before for people that are sick too, because I worry like, what if it didn't help them or something? But this is me coming from. I know that a lot of people understand that a lot better than me. I
Yeah.
and I don't know how to explain it. I just,
I
I'm
know what you mean.
myself.
I think most people can say, like, if it came to psychic abilities or something, to feel like you get a psychic message is one thing, but then to go out and say, hey, I got the psychic message and put it out there, that's a whole different thing. And I mean, you have to have a level of trust with the connection that you have that's beyond just chance. You have to really know that it's not just something that popped in your head, you know.
Well, it's funny because it's almost like I feel like there's been signs that this was gonna happen because the very first time that I did it, if you remember, in fact, not so fancy Nancy will love this because she had kept pointing out how we. At first I didn't even get it, but when Amber had done my first BQH, and she asked who she was talking to, and it said to tell her, meaning me, that it was FOTU, and then it said she'll really like that, and it said fairies of the universe or whatever. And then I noticed later that it was like unbiased on the fence, like mixed up kind of. And
Right.
then now we've been doing these together. It's weird.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool that it's the same letters, and they're not the typical letters. You know what I mean? I didn't have a problem getting my web address or anything because it's sort of like anyway. The
That's
the
interesting. I love that.
right. The point of it is this is what's cool about it. Fairies of the Universe. It's like where did that come from? In preparing for this show, I went out and Googled or put it into YouTube to see what comes up. Who else has talked to these fairies in the universe? And of course, I had heard Abraham Hicks. You mentioned it a long time ago when what just happened. We were talking about the UOTF and the fairies of the universe. In your first session with Amber came through. That's when you realized that Abraham Hicks had mentioned it in a video from 2010. Correct?
Yes. When I first started, I guess you'd say that when I first woke up in 2010 was when I got introduced to YouTube because I was searching out of body experiences, and I ended up coming across Abraham Hicks material. I came across this one video that was put together with a really good music behind it, and I just resonated with it so much, and it was so helpful to me. And I remembered that it had said fairies of the universe in it. Or I don't know if I rewatched. That's what it was. I think I revisited it, and I was like, oh my god, that's so weird because I'd never noticed it back then. I noticed
Right.
the angels part,
Yeah.
because she was basically saying, energy around you. You could call it fairies of the universe. You could call it angels. In mine, I said you could call it Sir Jesus, and that really does kind of bother me. But I did think it was humorous.
So here's the cool thing, though. That goes right along with some of the information that came through about the children being rescued and freed and all of this stuff in the session. is that video you've been watching. This is a video, you guys know how you'll have a video that inspires you so much and you just kind of revisit it every now and then whenever you feel the need to. Well, this video she's talking about from Abraham Hicks is one of those videos that she's been watching for 10 years now, when she first started watching it when it was released. So tell us what you see in the video. You found a Mandela effect. I mean, you know this video. You've watched it for 10 years. And now what did you see in this video? Because you sent this to me today and it made me cry. I was so touched by it.
Well, I'm 1000% sure that there was no children in this video at all. And especially like towards the end, they're running in a field free, and it, you know, with everything that was going on, you know, everything that they've been talking about. And I was, and then the video title was Now We Are Free. And there's these kids just running around in the field so happy. And then it hit me, you know, like, well, I'm a wide awake and I'm realizing all this. And I could see in my mind's eye, Michael Jackson kind of went like, you know, because I've had that communication with him when I first started meditating and praying for the children in the world with these particular issues. And that's been like since 2015. And it was like he was letting me know that that's what it was. But then I noticed that they all had on like Halloween type costumes. Like they were dressed up like fairies, princesses, pirates, cowboys. And I was like, oh my gosh, because everything I'd gotten from Michael Jackson, I was going through so much fear with stuff like that. And it was like Halloween based. There was the Thriller Mandela effect, where he said, terrorize y'all neighborhood. And me and Darby would be like, well, we say y'all. It's so weird. And then they came out with that Michael Jackson Halloween special. And I had so many synchronicities in that. Like in the beginning, them getting sucked into the blue portal. And that was the first time I saw him with my own eyes by my bed when the portal opened up and he was in it. And that's when I got guided, and that was so unlikely. But that's when I got guided by him, slowly introduced to it, slowly to get over the process and the fear. Even the meditating part was new to me, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And he just took me through the whole thing. But then all of the holiday stuff, I started realizing that all these holidays were representing certain phases of like my spiritual development or something. And then they all started like kind of merging together in different things throughout.
And once again, it's happened in this video now. You're watching this video and it's like, once again, the holidays being merged along with the celebration of the children being freed.
Yeah, no. And I mean, I was crying and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like for real. It's like crazy.
We're watching our reality change right before us. And that little nugget, that's why we're sharing this, is because that little reality beginning to reflect back to us what we're creating, we're all already seeing it. And that should encourage everyone watching this to keep putting that feeling in there, that emotion of what it's going to feel like, the freedom. You know what I mean? And that's what's changing our reality right in front of our eyes. And as a confirmation, of course, you had your confirmation, but when you sent that, you know, I totally heard you from your session, like the fairies of the universe were talking to me, but it was like your voice from your session saying, "That's us." You know what I mean? Just like in your session. So then I looked up Fairies of the Universe and I pulled up this other video, and it was not Abraham Hicks. It was a separate one, and it was talking about like it was the fairies of the universe, like sort of preparing someone to come down and be born into this incarnation here on Earth. Right. Go ahead. I'll let you.
Well, it was like a cartoon. It was a child's type video, and I resonated with it so much, and I was feeling chills everywhere. I was feeling like a pulling right here and everything, and it was so funny because there was just a few things in it that I just like, I don't know. They showed like the ultrasound of the baby, and you could hear the baby cry at one point, which I'm so into kids. It's just like when we were at SETI and I went to that gas station and there was babies everywhere. And then it wasn't really there, but I really bought cigarettes and water. I don't know what happened that day, but anyway, I just, you know, I love kids. I love babies. And then it says, and you need to start having a journal, and you take, you know, get your pencil or your lip liner. To me, there was really no point for them to say that. It was like a cartoon, a child video. I don't know. You're gonna have to put a link to that in the description or something because that is crazy.
We will. We'll put a link to the
Both of
Abraham
them.
Hicks one. We'll put a link to the one you're just talking about, as well as a link to take this test that led me to Aaron Doughty's YouTube channel. He's got this great video. It's actually, I'll put that link below as well. It's a great wake up tool to send people, if people are sort of stuck at home and they're just waking up. But what's really cool about it is he had this link that, to check what your vibe is. And I think it's a great way while everybody's in the house, everybody can like take the test. You can send a link to somebody else. And after you take the test to see what your vibration is, then Aaron actually sends you an email with a link to a meditation. So I did all of that. And it's a meditation you're supposed to do for 21 days. Well, the first day, which was yesterday, I actually met my spirit guides, and the guided meditation says you're going to meet your spirit guides. I'm expecting Jesus or something. It was Dolores Cannon, so happy
Yeah.
birthday, Dolores. I greeted her, got to give her a hug and tell her, there's no social distancing on the other side. It was cool. I got to give her a hug and tell her happy birthday, and I was sort of taken aback by it. I didn't realize she was my a spirit guide for me. And it sort of dawned on me because actually Sherry's channeled her, and of course Candace Crawl Goldman channeled her last year. A wonderful message from Dolores Cannon, and it was sort of like she looked at me like, "You didn't know yet," you know what I mean? Sort of like I should have known that she
I
was a
figured
spirit
that
guide.
all along.
Right. It's like I'm the last one to the party or whatever. So anyway, I had just had this cool experience. So if you guys want to check out that link below and go do this what's your vibration test and get a custom meditation sent to you and share the link with family members you're stuck in the house with maybe, and it's sort of a gentle way of sharing something spiritual, and maybe they'll try the meditation out. You just never know. Yeah.
I noticed on this BQH that, and it just dawned on me when we were looking at the other surprise that we have to show you guys in a little bit. Okay, so you had asked the names. Did the fairies have names?
Right.
And I'm sitting there with bated breath, waiting to see what I'm gonna say. And it says, I start humming, like, and then I was just noticing, thinking a few minutes ago, but music is like a frequency, you know what I mean? So, or
Mm-hmm.
a vibration, and I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
And then you went on to say like droplets of water of the ocean or
Right? Yeah.
something like that.
I
Which
think that they looked like drops of water. Yeah.
which actually leads to this next bit of something we want to show here. Okay, so while you were watching this, that's funny that you were watching this and you weren't even paying much attention to it, but you saw this strange
Flash.
anomaly that comes
Hmm.
up here. I zoom in on her so we can see this. What appears here looks like water droplets or something. Fairies.
And I think it's two different colors. I see white and gold. Like the top one looks gold, more gold to me. And the
It was
top
only
one,
there for 2 frames. Like, I mean, it just flashes on her eye and then it's gone.
the top one actually looks like a fairy to me. Just saying. That's my opinion. But it even has a little
It
glow around it.
does.
Looks like
Yeah.
Tinkerbell.
Yeah, it does. I wish I could make it bigger.
Oh, shout out to April Lunsford. Doesn't she, don't they call her Tinkerbell at home? I don't know. I might
Oh.
have the wrong person.
I think her higher self, the angry one, is Tinker Hell or something
Oh yeah, that's cute.
like that. So, what do you guys think that is there? It's strange, huh?
It's crazy. Actually, I'm gonna tell you, to me, I'm really into things like that, like orbs and stuff. So to me, it was kind of like evidentiary support that, that this was, coming from something a lot, like they were there, they were around me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
There was another time when you were just coming out of it. I want to say that was the consciousness video we just did. That you could see some kind of orb like ascending from your third eye out through the ceiling. Now that's what I was reminded of when we just caught this little clip that we showed on here.
Yeah.
Is
I've
how
had,
you've actually seen, you've woken up and looked and saw something like shooting out through the ceiling right above your eyes.
yeah. Yes, I've been seeing more orbs and stuff lately, and I saw one, and it was probably like about maybe a 4-inch diameter white ball just kind of like come out of me and just shoot up through the ceiling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to bring up in the session that I noticed is at one point you said, sorry, someone was messing with me or someone was interrupting me. I can't remember how you ordered it, but I left that in there. Normally I cut out gaps, but that was a long gap, and then you gave me that reason for it, and I was like, somebody's bothering you. I didn't know if somebody was at your house and
Uh,
bothered you, but
yeah.
you thought, what did you think it was?
Well, intuitively, I got that it was because, see, I don't, I guess I'm not totally comfortable with the process all the way. And I, I think it was me fighting
That's
against it,
funny.
not fighting against it.
Right,
Like,
right, right. I know. Just
I don't know
being
how
a
to
little,
explain it.
right, just saw
Being nosy, I don't know.
a little resistant. Like, get back to your
Yeah,
book.
a little resistant, maybe.
I'm sorry. I should have asked which book you were reading, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. Did you tell about that already?
No, that's weird, though. In the beginning, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the beginning, when the fairies of the universe were taking over, you said, okay, I'm just going to go read. And you were going to go read a book,
It's so
you know?
weird.
And you mentioned you got that other book. So in my mind, I didn't even think, I thought you're going to go read the book that, in your mind, you're going to go read the book that you just got or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I
That's
never asked.
in real life or whatever. See, I'm trying to get adjusted to all this. Like I said, I'm not saying I don't agree with it or I do. I'm just kind of being skeptic, not skeptical, a healthy skeptical, you know?
Right.
Does that
But
make
you've been, you've said since you started doing the BQHs, you feel like it started to turn on other abilities and stuff too, like sort of just playing in that realm of the psychic ability and the channeling and.
Yeah, and I've had little things happen to where like now sometimes there's been times that I'll feel this thing going on and then you've asked if you could do a BQH for somebody or something and it feels like something's sucking right here, like something, I don't know, trying to like come out or something. And just today while I was kind of getting all that other stuff, maybe it was because we're doing this video now to explain stuff, I felt like it was maybe me like kind of stepping aside while this goes on, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure. It was just a feeling I had. I'm just
Right.
learning to kind of figure all those things out.
Right. Can you see how this might develop into something else though, like I don't know, channeling more often or conscious channeling? If you do channel, you'd want to be conscious for it, right? Not just.
Me? Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's one thing that I just have a lot of religious programming that I like working through and stuff, and that's why I just get a little bit nervous about it. If I remembered it all, like when some people remember it all, it wouldn't seem so weird to me. But when you're speaking clearly and you're listening back to you talk, and you're like, I never said this before. That's
Right.
it's really weird.
Right. I can imagine it'd be really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why it might be uneasy for some people to hear yourself talking and not remember saying it or whatever. You
And I
know.
won I wonder if the part where I was saying or like where there is that little bit of resistance is maybe that's why I kind of like am slow with it or stutter or I don't know. I don't know. I'm just learning all about all this, y'all. But I do love Dolores Cannon. I always felt like she was like a grandmother figure to me because her voice is just like my grandmother's. And I heard her audibly once say, trust the process. When you were actually doing a show with Candace Goldman once, I heard that.
Yeah, that was last year's World Wide Regression week.
Oh,
And that's so
wow.
funny. Did I mention that that was the one thing she said to me when I was
Yes,
hugging her? And
that's what I was
yeah,
trying to tell you about that. I think that was, I don't know
trust
when
the
that was.
process.
Yeah, and some
Yeah,
other people had gotten that too. But if you go back to that show and look in the chat room, I had put it that I had just literally heard her audibly say that. It's in the chat room on that show. I was like, that's what she'd said. Because I think at that time I was like, I don't know, so it is a process when you're adjusting to it. It's an
yeah,
adjustment.
yeah. And who was it? I think it was. I think it might have been Megan that I did a video with where I named it "Trust the Process" because
I
sometimes
know.
it
I
can take a
noticed
little
that.
bit longer, and I didn't realize it at the time. That she was probably talking to me right then. So many times we have thoughts, voices in our head, and we think, oh, that's just an idea I just came up with. But I'm hearing them again. That's us.
That's so
So
funny.
I thought that was really cool because that's also when I sort of went through that whole process of, what do we call this help? Do we say God? Do we say Holy Spirit? Do we say Jesus? Jesus said pray in His name, so that's evidently cool to do. But what about the angels? What if you don't know the right angel? And it's such a human thing to want the labels, you know.
Right.
And that came through in the session too. So now I know that originated with them. Don't worry about the labels.
Mhm.
That's like a human thing to do. We're going to come. If you call, we're going to come. Call us the love. And then that was the other thing because when I got my session with Debbie Hazelton, I asked my guide, this entity that was interacting with me in my session, its name, and I got love. So it was them, and that's what that was at the end there that we just saw when he said, that, because I did. I knew that was, it just all clicked right then. And I totally forgot the Cynthia Sue Larson part. That was totally awesome. And that's happened a few times
Yeah.
in other sessions where it's almost like you get some kind of email attachment or something. I don't know, a download from them. And I got this picture of Cynthia Sue Larson and how good can it get.
And
So,
then I say it like I
right,
tell you that you're doing that right then. That's
right,
so weird.
right.
Cool.
Yeah, so you could actually see, or the fairies of the universe could see that what I was saying.
It's crazy. It's cool.
It
It's
is.
happened
It's
a
really
lot
cool.
of times.
Yeah, I've had enough stuff happen now in my bucket of experience. Who did this experience bucket? Was it
Robert Bruce.
Robert Bruce? Yeah, okay. So you got your experience bucket, and since we started doing this, since BQH and everything, I've put so many cool things in there, so many supernatural things in there, to where there's just no doubt anymore with a lot of stuff. You really get that connection with the higher realms. I'm sorry you're like not awake for it, but it's awesome.
That's so funny. It's interesting to look back and see what I'm gonna say. Hmm.
Is there any other tips that you have for people that might go that deep and have trouble dealing with it? Because that seems like that could be, I don't know, difficult if you didn't remember.
Tips. Um, um, I was really, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was just kind of like really scared of it at the beginning, and as time goes on, all you have to do is trust the process, and then I got more comfortable with it and things like that, and so that would be what I would say is trust the process. Shout
Yeah.
out to Dolores. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Dolores. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. And thank you so much, Sherry, for all of the sessions you've done and for sharing it with everybody. I just really can't thank you enough. So.
Oh, thank you. I hope everybody enjoys it. And
Well, don't forget to head on over to the Quantum Healers YouTube channel, link below. Check out all the other links that we talked about. Lots of love and light and unity to each and every one of you. Peace. Have a good one.
good night.
Be sure to check out the website at uotf.net. There you will find the live stream schedule displayed in your local time right there on the front page. Below that, you'll find links to take the Beyond Quantum Healing course at a discounted rate, purchase our book, Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe, in paperback or ebook, or to contact me to schedule a BQH session. At the top of the site, you'll find links to help support the work I do, access the free private forum where you can discuss organizing get-togethers in your area, Mandela effects, and more. Thank you all so much for being here.